Hello everybody, here we are with an update on the Ice Nova Gemling. Last time I told you that around 200,000 sheet damage was already way more than you needed, so naturally I went and upgraded it to over 4 times more sheet damage at 800,000. Plus oops, we do get Trinity for my amulet, which is a pretty good uptime, as you will just see. So that's another 50 to 70% total damage. This is really a multiplier. If I fully load it with all three elements, I will get 70% more damage. So a 1.7 multiplier here. So damage-wise, this is just fucking ridiculous at this point. This is completely insane with damage. Not needed at all, and by now also very expensive, but you know, I wanted to see how far I can push it. And let me first show you a ritual. This is a map with 200% delirium on it, and I've already done a few of the rituals. I've killed the boss, so we're in the middle of the map just to showcase a little how it goes. So as before we start fighting, I use a frost bomb to get myself a cold infusion to get started, and then we can just go, we can start the ritual, and we can start blasting everything. And again, this is a 200% delirium map, and yeah, you see nothing nothing stands a chance in this. There's just nothing that will ever happen. Um, the mana you see is okay. I do need the mana remnants to help me sustain. I actually made a chain recently on my ring to put a bit of mana on it. But it is, you see it, it's not a problem. And this ritual is just gone in no time. Now where's the last one? Over there. Let's go there. How did I get there? I mean, these normal mobs here are just stupid. Walking through delirium and blasting everything. I don't even need my frost wall for any of this. The frost wall now is really just for bosses, but even those, it's not really needed. Now here's the last ritual. There should be a bunch of bosses spawning here. Let's do that quickly, and then I show you all the changes and the things I've done. There is a lot of changes to update the build. Quite crazy actually to push it this far. I didn't think it would be possible, but it was fun. I'm kind of out of ideas now. I don't really know what the next step will be, even with unlimited money, quite honestly. Maybe a Dialas to kind of reduce the mana cost by 10%, but is that really worth it? I really can't stand in the fucking wisp thingy here with this tornado. I hate the tornado because it always makes me move out of the wisp. Okay, there were no bosses. What was that? What the fuck? No bosses and only 20k. That's ridiculous. Anyway, to show you the build. So what has happened? Let's start with the equipment. I upgraded my staff. This one is ridiculous. You see it has increased cold damage and increased spell damage instead of more gain as. Apparently, according to my POB, this is stronger with more percentage increased damage. I didn't check recently though because I really can't afford another staff right now. This is good. I did put lightning damage in the rune here, as you can see up here, and that's because I need to keep triggering Trinity. Oh, by the way, did we look at Trinity in that ritual? Let me go fight something here and show you Trinity uptime. Look up here. When I'm fighting here, you see Trinity. Now it's only cold and fire, so that's 200 resonance. That's already 50% increased damage, but somehow my lightning currently isn't triggering. Where is my lightning? Let's see if we find some mobs. The map is empty. So you see 200 resonance easy, light and cold and fire is on. I'm not getting my lightning triggers right now for some reason. Maybe this map has a modifier or something. Alright, there's no more mobs left to show you. Usually I can trigger all three of them and I'll show you how. But right now it seems something isn't working. Maybe I can find another map later to show. Alright, there's nothing there. But anyway, so Trinity, at least 2 are always full. In rituals or like abysses or stuff like that, I easily get all 3 with perfect uptime, and that gives us a ton more damage. The trinity is coming from my amulet that I crafted myself here. So I got this trinity absent amulet. Then I fractured the spell skills after chaos spamming this. This was ridiculous, of course. I then after fracturing the spell skills, I chaos spammed for spirit, and then I added the quality via desecration and the energy shield with the essence, which is kind of easy to do. Of course, this amulet could be better with more energy shield, but then it is RNG instead of crafting, and I don't have the money for it. But this is really great. I did change my helmet. In the helmet, I went for the Raven Touched socket here, the Raven Touched shard, because it allows me to do an additional anoint. So I anointed Biting Frost, which makes the enemies frozen take 20% increased cold damage. This is not 20% increased cold damage as any other value would be. This is take increased damage. So this is a different bucket of damage, I understand. So this is actually really good, but it doesn't show up in the sheet damage. So the 800k sheet damage is without this. If I would anoint something else here, I could probably get 900k sheet damage or even a million. Like take whatever cooked or something with a ton of crit damage, for example, would be much higher here. But this is cool here. Biting Frost anoint on the helmet for no real loss. I mean, a little bit of energy shield, but I still get 500 energy shield. So this is more than worth it. I used the fluxes to change here to chaos res because I really needed some chaos res. There used to be some like fire res or something, so I changed that to chaos here. I use a Calandra's touch because I crafted my dream ring, so I wanted to duplicate it. It's this one here. I finally crafted this one yesterday. It just cost me something like 70 diff to craft. I got lucky. I bought a base for 20 divine, and then I slammed one lucky essence to get the 20 additional quality. I then whittled to mana in 3 tries, which was fine, and then you just overwrite this with there was a desecration on the one I bought, so I overwrote it with an Omen of Light and got my spell damage. So overall, this is the perfect ring. There would be more damage options here instead of the max mana. I have one, but I really needed the mana. Without this 157 mana, now I'm 945. I was at like 600 mana. That's just, it doesn't refill quickly enough. Even with the mana remnants, it gets a bit painful and you sometimes run out of mana, so I didn't want it. So this ring is exactly what I want. The armor, I have 61 spirit on it here, and I need every last bit of it. I am exactly 0 out of 211 spirit, so you see it's really borderline. I just need everything. I also need the intelligence because I upgraded my charge regulation. It's a lot of dexterity, so I do need this. I need everything on here. I do have the Fox Idol still for the additional gem quality here. Just then the gloves, what I did here is I used the Cadigan's Epiphany here so that I have an additional jewel slot. So I put a jewel in here with this increased effect of suffixes, so I get a shitload of crit damage and crit chance here. If I stop pressing Alt, you see 23 crit chance, 26 crit damage bonus, 23 crit chance again. The 10 maximum energy shield I actually didn't I didn't divine this yet about patience, let's put it that way. Otherwise, the gloves, they give me mana per enemy killed. This also helps here. There could be a resistance roll here. There could be more energy shield. But I really wanted this mana because otherwise I'm just getting in trouble. It's not mandatory. It works without, but I wanted to have it just to the boots, I got here movement speed and resistances and energy shield. That's all I want. A bit of chaos rest so that I cap out. I tried to keep my resistances fully capped. I'm here at chaos, not quite. I like my 8700 energy shield. I mean, I just hate dying. So I want to be comfortable and this is fine. I also got myself a rite of passage with the owl here. That gives me more energy shield when it procs. Again, Really nice to just have an energy shield. I just wanted to say. And then after selling an amulet for like 500 div, I did buy myself a mage blood. That's not necessary. This build works easily and very easily without a mage blood. You don't need to get this. I got myself a double diamond for crit hit chance, so I now have 100% critical hit chance, a quicksilver for movement speed, and a bismuth for the elemental resistances. I need that. If we look at my Ice Nova here, you see I'm at 79% crit chance, but I do have the charge regulation, which gives me 27% more crit hit chance if I have a power charge, and I always do. I can trigger one if I get my Frost Bomb for infusion and I consume it. I now have a power charge here, and you will see that now my Ice Nova is at that pretty 100%. And the cold infused one, I mean, damage wise, it just goes completely. The damage here is just. So this is it for the gear. I have a belt in my stash that I used before this. There is really cool crafting options for belts. Let me show you, but I shouldn't forget to get my rewards from the ritual here in this map. So let me show you the other belt. If you don't have a oh, I'm selling it probably right now. If you don't have a Mage Blood, this is kind of a top option of a belt. You don't need to go this far, but you go triple res, you get explicit resistance modifier increase, so you get more resistances, and then you can get here spell damage during flask effect. We have Lavianjas here. We are always having a flask, so that's a permanent damage bonus. And then I can also get here cold damage if you collected a cold infusion in the past 8 seconds. We collect cold infusions all the fucking time, so this is permanently off as well. This belt is a ton of damage, a ton of resistances, and you absolutely don't need Mage Blood. Quite honestly, Mage Blood is just nice for the movement speed here. That's the main thing. It is absolutely not necessary. We go back into my map so I don't lose my ritual rewards. Let's look at them together. Maybe you'll see me finally get a Mage Blood. Doubt it, right? We buy this shit. With only 20k, oh, it was not. It was only 4 rerolls, so it's one of the first few rituals in this chain. So nothing useful. Just buy. Oops. Let's see if this whole video gets me good drops thing works. But 1 reroll left, nothing to buy. 14k, I'm gonna waste 50. And nothing. So we're just gonna buy this shit to get my chance shard out of it. What can we do? Good. So from a passive point of view, I did change this jewel here. You can get it very large radius. Actually, the very large radius is cheaper than if you go large. So look for upgrades to very large. They're cheaper. I got 1 crit hit chance here, and then 2 times crit bonus because I'm over 100% crit bonus. So I crit hit chance, so I could get bonus here twice. I get increased maximum energy shield, and I took this node additionally here just to try and maximize what I get in this circle here from the jewel. I got here, I took here fire damage instead of what I had before, light or cold. That's again to try and help me with Trinity, so I put extra fire damage on my Heart of the Well. I went up and grabbed me the cast speed up here. I like feeling faster. In my last video, I told you cast speed is not important, but I also put cast speed on my ring here now, and it just feels smoother if you have more cast speed. I don't think we really need it damage-wise or anything, but it just feels good to be able to cast faster. What we also changed is I changed here my split personality and I went for sorcerer. Last time I was here in the monk. What is this? Templar? I don't know. Druid starting point? I don't know what this is. I never played this class. So I changed this to sorcerer here so that I can start from here. I get more energy shield with these nodes here. I also finally figured out before in my last video I took here energy shield nodes here and I completely missed that we have a better energy shield tree here that I completely forgot about. So we spec into energy shield here, different from the last video. We grab here the crit hit chance. I did need that one instead of the damage just to be at 100% for sure. Otherwise, I don't think we made so many changes. We went and grabbed Throat Seeker here because I had the points to hard grab this one. Otherwise, it's the tree is pretty similar. So we do have here still the plus 3 level of Ice Nova skills. We have here the hardware well I showed already. We have here the split personality, and we have here one of the time lost sapphires as the jewels. Would be nice to have more jewels, but I just can't. We also put here the double curses because we are using blasphemy with a slowing curse. It really helps just with also survivability. So this is for this passive tree. Otherwise here, nothing new, standard. I did make sure that I balance blue and green gems so that I get the 40% less movement speed penalty while using skills. This one is nice to have. But it really took a lot to try and balance blue and green. I did take out some gems that I actually like having just to get more green in because I wanted to try and balance it. But this was fucking painful. You don't need this 40% less movement speed penalty. It's just nice. So I also did balance I did ignore the red. I can't balance everything. It just won't work. So from a skills perspective, if you see any weird green gems like these, all of these 4 here, they're purely for balance up here. I just wanted to balance blue and green. And why is the number not the same? That's because of weapon set. So this is currently balanced. I do get the benefit of less movement speed penalty. So I put here in the sigil from my staff, I just put green gems to balance. These do nothing. I never use it. I don't even use the sigil. It's more damage, but I don't even have the time. Everything dies in 2 seconds, so I don't have the time to even use this. Then I do get Trinity from my amulet. Why no support gems here? I tried putting in additional skill gems, but it doesn't work. So if you get it from the amulet, for some reason, I get here plus 3 global modifiers. That works. That does give me a level 23 Trinity. But if I put additional skills in here, it doesn't work. So I guess if you get it from the amulet, you can't put additional skills. Then the Ice Nova, what did we change? I still run Deliberation because it's so much damage. The 30% movement speed penalty is a fucking pain, but the damage is just crazy. I don't need it. Maybe quality of life. Get it out. We upgraded to Verona Siege here instead of the magnified area, just because for bosses, if they're isolated, I get 20% more damage, so why not? It's cool. I went for Cold Mastery here over Ice Bite because the Ice Bite kind of screws with Trinity's balance. Too much cold damage. So I took out Ice Bite. I sacrificed a little bit of damage from Ice Bite, but I want Trinity to have a chance to be balanced. So this is for Trinity. Still considered casting and still seeing it here. So just fun. The Frost Wall is unchanged. I might have changed here. Maybe I don't think I did. But, you know, if you see weird green gems somewhere where there could be a blue gem instead, that's probably just for balancing. The Mana Remnants, super important. I went with Remnant Potency 3, so it does give me a 3-second lag, but the 40% increased effect is nice to have. Maybe Remnant Potency 1 would be fine too. But otherwise, just Lifesaver. Mana Remnants is an absolute fucking lifesaver. Best I don't know, best support ever here, or best buff. The Frost Bomb, now you see here, right, there is weird green gems. This is really just because I needed a place to put green gems and I couldn't put them anywhere else, so I put them here. This one, mobility does nothing, this one does nothing, so these are just balance gems. The Frost Bomb, I use it for exposure on the boss to lower the resistances, and I use it once to trigger my Cold Infusion to start the chain. Siphon elements, just to keep getting the remnants. This is nice. It also gives me lightning remnants that I'm using actually later. So I do shock with my Ice Nova because I do. Oh, I need to go. I do have quite significant lightning damage here, so I apply shock with my Nova, and I don't want to get rid of the shock because it's 20% more damage, and because it also helps triggering lightning remnants, which are useful for Trinity again. Charge regulation, just for the more critical hit chance. Before I switched to Trinity setup, I also had Combat Frenzy to give me the skill speed with Frenzy charges. That was cool, but I just don't have the spirit to do that anymore now. Then we get the cast on Elemental Ailment. So this is really to trigger Trinity. This is all about Trinity. Why is it Elemental Ailment? Because I get increased reservation efficiency from the Gemling here, and I don't have the spirit to go for cast on crit. Casting crit would be better, but I don't have the spirit for it. So cast on Elemental Ailment works well. And here's the reason why Trinity works. I didn't know that. I found this Ember Fusillade. This is fucking insane because it gives me an explosion with fire damage, and if I have lightning infusions, which I do from Siphon the Elements, it does give me a beam that does lightning damage. So it gives me fire and lightning for Trinity by triggering one lousy skill. It's fucking ridiculous. It works. And so here, if you look the explosion, it has more minimum fire damage than cold or lightning, so this always triggers fire. This explosion always gives me fire charges for Trinity, and then the beam is not perfect. It has the highest lightning damage, but the minimum here is below cold and fire, so lightning doesn't always perfectly trigger with this. That's a little flaw. I just can't get rid of it right now, unfortunately. That's also why before, I guess, in my demonstration, lightning just didn't work for some reason. Sometimes it doesn't quite work, but most of the time I do get lightning charges on Trinity with this. This is insane. One skill gives me 2 full buckets of Trinity, so that's like 40% more damage. It's just crazy. I don't know. Funny is I put fire attunement and lightning attunement both in here, and quite honestly, this is because I needed to get rid of cold damage. My build has so much cold damage increase for Ice Nova that if I don't have both these attunements here, the cold damage will be too high and I will not trigger fire and lightning for Trinity. So I put the attunements in to get rid of cold damage, boundless energy just to keep more energy, and energy retention to try and trigger more often. But so the Ember Fusillade plus these 2 attunements, that's what helps me keep Trinity full health. It's just insanely good. I don't know. I really didn't know there is a skill that has fire and light in one, but it works. These 2 together are perfect. Then we use Blasphemy with temporal chains. This is just great because everything gets slowed when I get close, so it's much safer to play it here. And the gems here, Deliberation here is another green gem just for the balance. This is not needed. Slow potency is actually good here, but this one again just for balance. And then finally, Elemental Weakness to get our elemental resistances of our enemies down. And here again, you see mobility and slow potency, more green gems to balance everything. Otherwise, this is unchanged here with the support gems. So this is how we play it. You see, we're balancing gems, we're balancing Trinity, we're adding all kinds of weird sources of damage, but it works and it really slaps. So this is the build, and of course on bosses we still do pop a frost wall to kill it. It's not really needed. The Ice Nova alone has so much damage, by the way, that you don't really Ice Wall or Frost Wall. It's fine. Is there are no more mobs to try and get Trinity to trigger? No. Let's see. If I go here, nothing. Yeah, there's nothing left. Alright, fine. We give up on this map. Hope that was useful. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys soon.